Hey everyone, so today I had a very interesting opportunity to come out and test out a bunch of really cool different guns with the guys from Chevalier, which is actually here in Oregon, and they represent companies like CMMG and TriStar, so that's kind of what we had the most experience out here with today. But today I really wanted to focus on the CMMG stuff. So what I have in my hands right here is one of their 5-inch 5.7 complete rifle, or pistols, excuse me, with the SBA 3 pistol brace. Now, just so you know, I did get one of their 8-inch uppers to play around with, and I'm going to be playing around with that. It just came a couple days ago, so I haven't had a chance yet. But this is, like I said, is one of their 5-inch ones, and I was anxious to see how it felt in this style of pistol versus how it's going to feel in mine. And I gotta say, this thing is a little bit too much fun. Now, the hard thing is 5.7 ammo still isn't cheap, but it is readily available, at least where I'm at. But it's going to get real expensive shooting this thing. But in the 5-inch, it just has the threaded barrel and a thread protector on here. And man, it just doesn't move. We were shooting at a couple steel targets at about 25-30 yards, and you could just hammer down on that trigger and the rounds would just go right where you wanted it to. And in fact, myself and another gentleman here who's writing for, I believe, well, I'm not going to say who he's writing for, but he's writing for somebody. He and I both shot a couple 5-round groups, and he actually did pretty well, and I'll show you my picture for what I did. Granted, the point of impact was a little bit higher than my point of aim, but we put in about 1.25 inch group at 50 yards with just this red dot and shooting off a set of sticks for me, and I'm sure I could have done a little bit better, but for what the circumstances were, it was pretty nice. Now, this is one of the 300 series ones, as you can tell by the AMB charging handle, AMB safety, and so on. Also, the 300 series is going to be the shortest configuration. My 8-inch one is, I believe, one of the 200 series, so we'll be definitely able to play around with that more, but I just wanted to show this thing off, and obviously you'll be seeing the footage from that. But if you remember the video I did with CMMG at SHOT Show, you know that they have a couple other cool things going on. So let me grab the next one. So what I have here is actually one of the CMMG bolts and barrel conversions. So you can see this is not a CMMG upper by any means. This is actually looks like a bootleg upper and handguard. But this is just one of their bolts and barrels that you can drop in. Now, you might be wondering, well, why use CMMG? As with that 5.7 and as with this and most of the other calibers they do in the Banshee line, it has a radial delay blowback, and I think it's something that's being undersold. I've seen a lot of videos talking about CMMG Banshees, and unfortunately the one I did on the 300 Blackout didn't have the radial delay, but the radial delay works very, very well and very, very well suppressed. So as you can see, there's a can on here, and we were running their conversion mag guts. So this is a Magpul magazine with their guts in it, and shooting some of the Hush, I think it's 165 grain ammo. This thing was very quiet and very low gas in the face because of that radial delay blowback. So the radial delay gives you two main things, at least from the shooter's perspective. Far more reduced recoil compared to regular AR-9s, because the regular AR-9s use straight blowback, so the carrier and bolt have to be really heavy. Because of the radial delay on this, it can be a lot lighter because it isn't reliant on that mass to keep the chamber closed when it's high pressure. And again, because of that too, the bolt staying closed a little bit longer, there's far less gas back in the face, and it was really quiet. Honestly, I would say it's almost on par, if not actually slightly quieter than my MP5K suppressed with subs, which is definitely saying something, and you can definitely get one of these uppers for a lot cheaper. And again, the cool thing with this versus your other AR-9s is, let's say you already have an SBR AR-15 lower, or a pistol lower, or maybe a registered machine gun lower. You can just now convert this thing to 9mm, use your same style mag lower and your same mag pouches, and be running 30 rounds of 9mm instead. So that's a really cool opportunity. But they don't just do 9mm and 5.7. Let me go grab the 10mm. All right, so this one is one of their 10mm, and as we all know, 10mm is the best millimeter. And I've shot a 10mm AR before, I've shot 10mm handguns before, but once again, going to that radial delay blowback, this thing was surprisingly pleasant to shoot out of this little pistol here. That's not bad at all. The radial delay, again, reduces that bolt mass and leaves that closed a little bit longer, and shooting it with this little lucid optic up here at, again, the steel, being able to transition from target to target and really put the hammer down on that trigger, it was just really, really nice to shoot. I think of the 10 mils I've shot so far out of the AR style platform, and even out of some of the carbine other platforms out there, this by far feels the best. Now, these aren't cheap, but that's just kind of par for the course when you're going to something like a wholly different design with the radial delay. And again, the quality of construction, you can tell this is a 300 series with the ambi charging handle and everything. It's just a really, really well put together gun. And in fact, so you can see the burnt bronze here, just yesterday at the gun store I work at, we had it ordered in a 45 ACP Banshee, much like this one, for a gentleman. And he was very, very happy with it. And I can't wait to hear back from him, at least as how well it shoots. But if this is going to be any indicator, it's going to shoot very, very well. So again, we had a chance to play with a couple other CMMG stuff. One of the 6.5 Grendels, which was pretty nice, but that is just using a regular gas system, not the radial delay, kind of like that 300 Blackout I shot. Yeah, just a really cool opportunity to come out here and shoot some ammo, not at my cost this time, which is a much better thing. And so with that, what I'm going to go ahead and do is run some rounds subsonic through this 9mm upper and let you guys appreciate that as my little parting piece here. So this lighting is going to be pretty overexposed on the other side because this is going to be in shadow, but what that'll allow us to do hopefully is appreciate how little gas is coming out, because you're going to be able to see it very, very clearly with the way that this lighting condition is here. And as you can see, I'm not going to be wearing ears because this is definitely hearing safe. Again, we're shooting some hush ammo here. Very, very little gas. This thing is exceptionally pleasant to shoot. It's just a little bit too much fun.
I had to aim a little high right.
High right?
Okay.
Well,
it's pretty quiet though.
it's very quiet.